right, welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at a CBS News report.
Okay.
Um, and the title is a little bit cryptic, I'll admit.
Mm-hmm.
Dozens of senior officials at top U.S. aid agency put on leave. Reports.
Interesting.
So right away, I saw this and thought, okay, something's going on here.
Yeah.
And it's all about the U.S. Agency for International Development.
USAID.
USI, better known as USI.
Right, right.
So I know, I'm curious.
Yeah.
What do you make of this whole thing?
Well, seeing a headline like that is certainly a little alarming.
Yeah.
Anytime you have that many senior officials put on leave, it makes you wonder what exactly is going on.
Yeah.
USI plays such a crucial role in providing aid and assistance all over the world.
Right.
So this kind of shakeup, it could have some pretty big implications for their operations.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
And the fact that CBS doesn't really give us any reasons behind these administrative leaves just makes it even more intriguing.
It does. It really feels like there's a story here. There's something more we need to find out.
Definitely.
But before we jump into all that, I think it's worth taking a step back.
Sure.
Just for folks who maybe aren't as familiar.
Yeah.
What exactly is USA? So what do they do?
Well, in the simplest terms, USAID is the main agency the U.S. government uses to manage all its civilian foreign aid and development assistance.
Okay.
And we're not talking small change here. We're talking billions of dollars in aid that goes towards helping countries all over the world.
Wow.
Everything from providing humanitarian relief in disaster zones, places like Ukraine and Yemen you mentioned, to supporting economic development and promoting democratic institutions.
It's a pretty big deal then.
It's a huge deal, and that's why this news about all these senior officials being put on leave is so concerning.
So what kind of impact could this have on their ability to actually do their work, to carry out these missions?
Well, think about it. You suddenly have this huge void in leadership. Experienced people who were making decisions, managing projects, are now gone.
Yeah.
That could easily lead to delays, confusion, and ultimately affect how quickly and efficiently aid can be delivered.
It's almost like taking out a bunch of important gears in a machine.
Exactly. It's going to disrupt the flow no matter how you look at it.
And it's all the more concerning, like we were saying before, because we don't even know why this is happening.
Right. The CBS report doesn't give us any specifics. It just says reports.
Right. Reports.
So we're left to speculate, is there some internal investigation? Are there policy disagreements?
I mean, even if it's something totally innocent, the lack of transparency is a problem in itself, right?
Absolutely, because it creates this cloud of uncertainty, not just within USAID, but also among the partner governments and organizations they work with.
How can you trust and effectively collaborate with an agency when you don't even know who's in charge or what their priorities are?
Exactly. It's a recipe for mistrust and potentially even jeopardizing important aid initiatives.
And you have to think about the human impact, too.
Absolutely.
In places where people are relying on USAID for basic necessities, any disruption in their operations could have devastating consequences.
Yeah, I mean, think about the situations in Ukraine or Yemen, where USAID is providing vital humanitarian assistance. If projects get delayed or funding gets messed up because of this leadership vacuum, it could literally mean the difference between life and death for some people.
So what should we be paying attention to as this story unfolds? What are the key things that will tell us more about what's really going on?
Well, first and foremost, any official statement from USAID or the U.S. government explaining the reasons for these administrative leaves would be huge.
Yeah.
That would at least shed some light on the situation and hopefully address some of the concerns.
Okay, so we'll be watching for that.
Definitely. And beyond that, we need to look for any signs of how this is impacting USAID's actual work.
Right.
Are there projects being put on hold? Are there funding changes?
Those are red flags.
Exactly. Those are the kind of things that will really tell us how deep this shakeup goes and what the long-term effects might be.
Well, I have a feeling this is a story that's just going to keep getting more interesting.
I agree. I think we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg here.
Well, it's a good reminder, though, about just how complex these systems are. International aid, diplomacy, it's all interconnected.
For sure.
And what might seem like an internal personnel issue in Washington can have ripple effects all over the world.
Absolutely. And it underscores the importance of transparency and accountability in these institutions that wield so much power and influence.
Yeah, a lot to think about for sure, and we'll be keeping an eye on it.
Definitely.
But for everyone listening, that's our deep dive for today.
Yeah.
And as always, we like to leave you with a little something to ponder. So, thinking about USA and its role in the world, what does this situation tell us about the challenges of delivering aid effectively? And what are the implications of this kind of leadership shakeup, not just for the agency itself, but for the people and communities they serve? Lots to consider there.
Yeah.
So until next time, stay curious and keep diving deep. We'll see you then.